Welcome back, fans, to another edition of the ECHL Insider. I am your host, Garrett Hunter, excited to talk about this week in the ECHL. It's officially March, and you know what that means. It is officially playoff race time. So let's get you some scores from last week's games. The Norfolk Admirals beat the Trois-Rivières Lions 3-1 on Saturday afternoon, but boy did Trois-Rivières have a response in store for the Admirals on Sunday. 7-0 win for the Lions against the Admirals as they stay atop the North Division are the Trois-Rivières Lions. And the Idaho Steelheads got a 4-3 overtime win over the Rapid City Rush. That ended their 11-game win streak, a franchise record, in fact. Just a crazy game. Rapid City had a 3-1 lead at the end of the second period. Idaho ends up icing the puck, actually, with 9 seconds left, but no one could hear the whistle. It was just the clock ran out. It was an icing, but wasn't called. Ref blew the whistle, and nobody heard it. Just how loud that building was. Crazy game, but all that momentum, all that energy behind the Rush kind of dissipated as the game continued into the third, with Idaho being able to come back, score 2 goals, get the game to overtime, and eventually win it to end the Rush's impressive win streak. And finally, the South Carolina Stingrays played a crazy series down south with the Everblades. They won 4-3 in overtime on Wednesday night, crushed the Everblades really 6-2 on Friday night, but the defending Cup champs had a response in store for the Stingrays Saturday with a 3-1 victory. Well, now let's talk about the Central Division before we get to our top 5 games of the week. The difference separating 4th place and 7th place in the Central Division right now is just 1 point, a half a game. Cincinnati, Indy, and Bloomington all at 51 points, and then behind in 7th is Kalamazoo at 50 points. So just a crazy race to get that 4th and final playoff spot in the Central Division, and I expect it to be like that all the way through the end of the regular season. Well, let's stay in the Central Division to start off the top 5 games of the week with the Indy Fuel hosting the Wichita Thunder Saturday and Sunday from Fisher's Event Center. Should be a really good matchup. This Wichita team is very dangerous on the road, but Indy, they need these points. We just talked about the race that they're in the Central Division, so should be a really good back-to-back for these two teams. And at number 4, the Worcester Railers travel north of the border to take on the Trois-Rivières Lions Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Should be a really good matchup. Worcester, they need these points to fend off Reading right now in that 5th place spot. So really important for both of these teams. Trois-Rivières, obviously, they want to stay sharp in 1st place. And also, they're looking at Worcester as a possible opponent in the 1st round of the playoffs. So Trois-Rivières right now, you want to play this Worcester team as best as possible as you can. This could be the 1st round in the North Division semifinals. We could be seeing Railers and Lions in the playoffs. And at number 3, the Florida Everblades travel to the Scope to take on the Admirals Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Should be a really good matchup. Florida coming off a crazy weekend against South Carolina. Norfolk coming off a 7-0 blowout to the Lions. You know, both teams in interesting positions. You've lost 2 out of 3 if you're the Everblades. You just got blown out by the Lions if you're the Admirals. Who responds better this week against a really good opponent? These two teams we will be seeing in the playoffs most likely. Really good opponent. And for the Admirals, you know, at home, hosting the 3-time defending Kelly Cup champs, you can't tell me that that's not going to be a crazy atmosphere in the Scope. So should be really good and a big environment also for the Everblades to contend with. And at number 2, the Wichita Thunder and Toledo Walleye will do battle on Wednesday night. Two teams that expect to see themselves making a deep playoff push this season. Wichita, we talked about it before. They are a really good road team this year. Very hard to beat on the road. They are also a team that can score a lot of goals. We saw what they did to Allen a few weeks ago. They are a really good team. But Toledo, when you talk about scoring goals, got to talk about Brandon Hawkins, right? And Tyler Spezia, 2 of the best goal scorers in the league for the Walleye. So should be really good. Wichita, you got to contain Hawkins and Spezia if they want a chance on Wednesday night. And our top game of the week actually comes on a Monday night, the only game on Monday night. The South Carolina Stingrays and Orlando Solar Bears will do battle at Kia Center Monday night. Should be a really good game. South Carolina, we just talked about coming off a 3-game series in Estero. They'll take the bus trip up north for this one. Won't return to North Charleston between those games, but should be just, quick turnaround time, right, for the Stingrays. Just one game in between and the travel. So really important that they're on their game. And for the Solar Bears, they have looked good, right? They had a comeback win, 5-4 in overtime over Jacksonville last week, and a 4-1 win over the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. So should be really good. Big atmosphere, obviously, in Kia Center for this one. So this could, again, be a possible playoff matchup going down the stretch. These two teams, second place South Carolina, fourth place Orlando, but that Central Division top 4 I would expect to shuffle between now and mid-April. So should be a really good matchup. Two teams that really can score the goals and have two good goaltenders, right? Ryan Fanti, what a turnaround he's had for Orlando since the beginning of 2025, and Garland Bjorklund on the other side for South Carolina, and Seth Isley, right? They got like the two-headed monster almost for the Stingrays. Should be a really good matchup between these two teams. Well, now let's get to our fight of the week as promised. Troy Murray and Kyle Neuber went at it 2 nights in a row. You got it 2 nights in a row in Estero, and I don't think it's really up for discussion who won this fight. Just two heavyweights, really, but Kyle Neuber got the best of Troy Murray on both occasions. You're about to see both of those fights, in fact. Really, really good fights, but definitely got the crowd going in Estero, as the home player definitely won both of these fights. Well, make sure to like our episode below. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already so you get updates on our weekly episodes every time they come out. And make sure to enjoy the Kyle Neuber and Troy Murray fight.
The Everblades are 12-7, 3-1 when the opposition tallies the opening goal. And a 1-0 lead for South Carolina. Engelbert has the marker, and now at center it's Kyle Neuber. And he's dropping the gloves at center ice. He missed the game on Wednesday. Neuber back in there and a big right hand. Oh, from the heart of the village of Estero. Kyle Neuber throwing the knuckles there. But Murray having some words with Neuber, and now Murray drops the gloves, and Neuber as well. And Kyle Neuber and Troy Murray, part 2. Neuber gets one right in there. How about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? Oh, it's an annihilation. Murray's like a punching bag, and Neuber going to town. An absolute destroying